the cities and such. But talk about your involvement, Andrew.
Well, I've been involved with Taste the NFL for over 20 years. It is, to my mind, the best event of its kind. I agree with you. I think it is the most fun party at the Super Bowl. We have dozens and dozens of chefs, national caliber celebrity chefs, people you see on TV, the best local chefs from the Valley, activations with, CPAC students and, other various food booths, dozens and dozens of Hall of Famers, active players, legends, celebrities, you name it. 2,500 people walking around eating the best food, drinking the best spirits and wines, all raising money to fight childhood hunger in America. So, when you combine an event like that on Super Bowl weekend with the level of people that are here and attending, and it's all for a cause that what's more important than helping kids eat? Anyone who's for childhood hunger, I think should be immediately evacuated from our planet. It's just there is nothing better in my mind than this event.
If there is anyone who is for that,
Yeah.
I will get them a credential.
Yes.
To come here tomorrow. At what time will Chuck be
When
here?
Chuck is here to get their butt kicked.
Right,
Yes.
and Chuck will
Yes.
take care of it.
So Andrew, I gotta say, I'm in the hospitality industry.
Yep.
I own a pizzeria. I feed
Right on.
people basic nutrition, and it feels so fulfilling as a chef.
Yeah. Food people are the best people in the world.
So my question is,
Most.
as the
Most.
inventor of the pizza diet, who became a professional bodybuilder eating pizza,
I love it.
how many pizza is going to be on have you had historically?
I don't know because, historically, there's frequently someone who does a pizza-inspired dish, fresh and excellent, right? As a challenge,
For sure.
right? So people tend to do pizza in these wonderful little, essentially, right out of the warmer, super fresh, and then they hit them with a beautiful tomato sauce, melted cheese, and torched them, and did a pizza element, which I thought was very clever, right? When people said there's pizza here, the line, I think, crushed them and overwhelmed them, right? I happen to be a pizza lover. I eat pizza every day of the week. And if I don't, it's a problem. So please inform me of this pizza diet. You'll email me when we're done with this thing.
He'll take over the next 2 hours.
Yeah, no, that's why I said email me.
Right, but let's get more on Gen Youth. Maureen, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Gen Youth is a national nonprofit in the relies on schools for the majority of their children. That's really so our schools need equipment. They aren't equipped. This is designed to school. So we help them with that. And we do other students who are part of football, and so on. So the money, the net proceeds, which is significant for Taste, is a combination of our annual program because we do Taste is the capstone, and the money from Taste will be for all of the
Here's just to double down on something that Maureen said. It's one thing to give a meal, right? It's one thing to give a couple dollars. When you're actually going into schools where the majority of children are, and you're creating there, that means equipment, staff training, the stuff that was taken out of schools that led to the problem that we're in, where school lunches be and not cost effective and shame children who didn't have money for lunch. When they go in and make those kind of substantive changes, that's one of the things that helps solve the problem. One meal, one kid at a time. So the work that Gen is doing is absolutely without care.
I don't want to get political or any of that stuff, but being an American, a veteran, all that, it's sickening to me.
Thank you for your service.
It's just sickening that we have people in this country that can't eat.
Cited the 1 in 8 stat. that is we're in the most wonderful country on planet Earth, in the history of planet Earth, that we have hungry children, we have hungry people wherever the public dollar intersects with food is shameful, criminal, and genocidal.
So I have to tell you one story from last year, what we did with the money from last year. And we couldn't do this without our corporate partners, PepsiCo, Quaker, Frito-Lay, Cornell, Kellogg's, you name it, American Family. But we used the money to redo 6 high schools' cafeterias in the worst hit areas of LA. Because high school kids go to the 7-Eleven to get a bag of chips
Right.
for dinner. We put in smoothie machines, we did all the things that allowed them to make their own food. Like, and use of those cafeterias by these kids who desperately needed that quality foods shot up 60%. It was so successful that LA Unified now bought smoothie machines from every
Really?
school.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
it's those kind of programs that people don't even think of that that really help to get the right food in kids' hands.
You said let's not get political. I'm going to say let's not get religious, but give a man a fish, right? Versus teach a man to fish. Putting that smoothie machine in, right? Retrofitting school cafeterias. That's what I mean by substantive change.
Sure. I don't know if you're aware of this. You probably are. This is basically an MMA combat show that we do. We do everything, but that's my love. When I talk to fighters, fight week, now they're cutting weight, so they're starving themselves.
That's
and
right.
do you know that they watch the Food Network
Yes.
to get through that week?
It's pretty funny. I have a lot of friends who are in the sport. I'm a big fan as well, probably a super fan. I doubt that there's an event that goes down that isn't watched live or taped in my house. It's interesting when I meet fighters and combat sport participants, and we start talking diet and nutrition, because it is very, very specific, especially with sports where you have to reach a certain weight. And it is incredible what that yo-yoing does. And we now find that people are seeking much more nutritive, permanent solutions to sort of stabilize a weight so they're not ballooning up and coming down. As a sidebar, we partner on sports teams. So it's something that we're really head-ass and over code involved in. It's pretty fun. It turns out that the biggest subgroup of food TV fans are professional athletes of all kinds, because they frequently have daytime hours free. They're at the gym, they're running. I just talked to Joe Montana a couple of minutes ago, and he reminded me, he said, remember, I'm the guy that watches you on TV all the time while I'm on the bike. He chooses to work out so that he can watch reruns of my old shows. I mean, that's hysterical.
It's definitely crazy. So speaking, who do you like on Saturday down in Perth?
Oh my gosh. I know this is, I've not seen anyone at the level of what Volkanovski has been able to do, and especially his last couple of fights. You look at some of the, I'll just say, older fighters, right? He's not a rookie, right? But you look at what he's done the last couple fights. If you don't tell me that guy knows how to get ready for this fight, I don't see how he loses. I really don't. I watched his last fight. I thought his hand speed alone was better than his previous couple fights that I saw him, and that was as fast as it is. I just, the mindset, I mean, look, you guys do this, for a living. People underestimate the mental aspect of this sport, or any sport for that matter. Any sport for that matter. And I think that's going to be the difference maker. I can't bet against Volkanovski.
My only concern is going up. Israel went up,
That's
the
right.
same thing happened. That's my
right.
only concern. So March 4th, John Jones returns.
Yep.
I already believe he's the Dana on Tuesday,
Yep.
and he agreed. This solidifies if he wins.
Yes.
Does John Jones win?
I don't think he loses either. I just think he has been a professional for so long. He knows, I believe he knows in his heart, and this is where that mental part of the game comes in. Lose, and I'm the butt of jokes for the rest of my life. Win, and it cements I'm the best that ever lived. I think he goes in there. I think he's been training for a long time. He's been at this larger weight for a long time. I think it's scary to think about the kind of power that he has with a couple extra pounds. I mean, and plus from a technique standpoint, from a mind game standpoint, look at what he's done to some, just ticky-tacky, hitting them, touching them, and then bang. I again, can't bet against John Jones. I don't know how you... That's exactly right.
Are there,
You better make him a comment.
I would love to.
He's a radio guy.
It's a loss.
The thing that I love even more. So I've covered the UFC since day one.
Yep.
UFC 1 I covered. UFC 11 was the first one I physically covered, and I've been to almost the rest. So seeing mainstream, and you're mainstream,
Yes.
yes. It means everything to me and to Dana, and that's what he said. It's awesome.
Well, people turn me onto it, and I was a high school wrestler, then I became a chef, and that whole thing just went out there. I discovered girls and drugs, and I had a natural aptitude for cooking, and my life went off in a different direction. But doing what I do for a living at a high level allowed me to meet different people, and I got turned on to this thing. I went over to Thailand, and I got into Muay Thai, on trips over there where our fixers and other locals who were joining our crew while we were making TV would take me to the big matches and the big stadiums. The food over there is out of sight. I mean, you have to leave the stadium, curry frog's legs and grilled spicy chicken, and you sit there and you're watching matches, and it was explained. I were there as my host. It was something that was, I will never forget, back of my neck. It was given to me by a bunch of fighters at a camp where they had a tattoo artist who was there.
Willingly or unwillingly?
Well, willingly, but I didn't know up until the time they said take your shirt off that's what they were going to do, and it was done Sankyat style with a giant needle and ink that they made themselves. So I think that's where it started off for me. That was about 10 years ago, and it set the hook, and it never left. I think it's an ultimate sporting contest.
Have you done any training? Do you do any jiu-jitsu or anything like that?
I do not, but I look like I'm a badass.
That's a professional right there. Caller 777
I'll pay it gladly. So my question came up from that conversation about nutrition and education. Yep. We understand the need to feed children that have nothing to eat, but there's also another epidemic of childhood obesity. Is there a educational protocol along with
an adult?
Oh, wait,
Actually, our organization, Gen Youth, works in the physical fitness area too, and we provide equipment to the schools that will get girls more. Because that's a really tough demographic. 75% of girls by the age 13 are no longer doing any physical fitness. And so we do light football, which is for boys and girls, and then we provide what we call a boot for kids for the schools. Girls to get them into other kinds of sports that they might not normally try. So yes, it's
And you make a great point. I just want to add, those substantive changes that Gen Youth goes in and makes is to make nutritious, healthy meals for young people.
mature to release more antioxidants. I would love to contribute my services as the inventor of the pizza diet to help educate, to incorporate favorite food into a lifestyle. I became a professional bodybuilder eating nothing but pizza. GQ Magazine Lead Athlete of the Year 2016 honors. And I'm training currently at 46 to do a 70 match to show the power of pizza.
Congratulations. So, that's awesome.
But I love giving back to the youth and educating them how to incorporate science macronutrients,
It's-
moderation.
It's so important, and you know, there's 100 paths to health and wellness, right? I mean, that's what science will tell you,
Yes, sir.
right? There's many different ways. We're glad. I mean, I'm so grateful to be associated with Gen Youth that is actually picking one that makes sense for people, and then they can get turned on to specialized stuff like that. Let's get them body aware, exercise aware, nutrition aware. Let's feed them and then move forward with something that isn't, you know, where they're not getting dinner at Walgreens.
God bless.
Where can people get information? Are there tickets still available for Saturday?
Yes, and then we'll be at the door too. We'll keep a few back so people that are spontaneous and want to stop by can. But it's tasteoftheannabelle.com. It's very simple. And if you can't go, we'd love you to donate because the program is year round. But you'll see the chefs. The food is going to be phenomenal. It is. Come hungry.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
hungry.
Yeah.
The chefs have gone. The chefs have gone all out this year.
And here's my suggestion: if you're not able to attend this year, you have a year to save up
Yes.
and buy a ticket
Come
for
to Vegas. Well, here's the other thing. We would love your dollars because it all goes to help kids, right? Because we have sponsors who are paying for everything else. But here's something that's as important. If you heard something today that's inspired you, just put tasteofthenfl.com in an email and send it to everyone on your list and tell them you heard something important that makes a difference in the lives of young people in this country that's desperately needed. Because it's awareness and shining the light it permanently. Nothing else will.
Awesome stuff. We appreciate your time, Andrew Marine. We'll see you Saturday. We're going to get your address. We're going to mail you a care package from 8 Man Strong. It's
Love it.
It's a big MMA sponsor, so
Love it.
you'll do that, and we'll take care of that. We appreciate your time. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank
Let's
you.
go hit a quick break. When we come back,